Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. So today we're going to be going through the polls from Sunday, September 23rd. I think they did combine the polls from Saturday, September 22nd, which was an Iowa governor poll. I think they combined it into the Sunday polls, but we're going to be analyzing a couple of new polls, not that many, but some from Fox News and NBC, and we're just going to see how the data pretty much differentiates from one another. And then for the Iowa governor race, we're going to look at the polls there. So this video should be brief. Right now we're looking at an Iowa governor poll. So I believe Fred Hubbell versus Kim Reynolds. Kim Reynolds is the incumbent. Right now, it is in his favor in terms of polling. However, when we look at the data, Emerson shows Hubbell ahead by 5%. But when we look at the numbers, 36% to 31% for Kim Reynolds. So a number of undecided voters. In the Des Moines Register, we have 43 for the Democrat, 41 for the GOP incumbent. Again, a number of undecided voters, or if we look at a number of other races, voters have already made up their minds. In Arizona, in Florida, where we look at a number of these races where it is close. This one, not so good of an example, but if we click on the race and we look at a couple of other numbers, we have 44-45, better than 36-31, 46-44, 49-49, 47-47. Missouri is probably a prime area where we see true undecided voters, because we have 4 consecutive ties, and so which led into Hawley leading by 3%. But 47-47, 47-47, 45-45, 45-45. None of the Iowa candidates have yet to reach that. And yes, we are less than 45 days away from the 2018 general election, but it's no excuse for candidates not to have a base behind them. So right now, this new number from the Des Moines Register definitely does help the Democrats there, because they currently have a GOP incumbent in a state that Donald Trump won by nearing 10% back in 2016. So it always looks good when you have an incumbent. It always should look good when you have an incumbent leading, but that's not what's happening here, especially in a Republican state like this. Yes, it was a swing state in 2012, but not anymore. It's pretty much a Trump state, and if they lose here, it definitely could say something about Trump losing voters. And also, a number of these House races in the state of Iowa are contested. 3 out of the 4 could go to the Democrats by the end of 2018, which is very surprising compared to before, where the Democrats only held 1 back in 2016. So that pretty much covers the Iowa poll. Not a lot to see there because there are a number of undecided voters, but you can never really ignore when a Democrat leads in a pretty Republican state from a presidential election year. It also could be the Kim Reynolds unpopularity. Who knows? But right now, those numbers are good for the Iowa Democrat. For the President Trump approval rating, we have a poll from Fox News and NBC, and then we have the same one for the 2018 generic congressional vote, and again, both done by Fox News and NBC. So the Fox News poll shows Trump with a disapprove plus 6%, both of which show, along with the NBC poll, show him at disapprove 52%, but NBC shows approve 44%, so not much differentiates between the two. Fox News typically is stereotyped as right-wing, and NBC News doesn't really have that close of a stereotype. It pretty much falls under the label of the left-wing media, showing Trump at a 44% approval rating according to NBC and 46% approval rating according to Fox News. You can pretty much average out to a 45% approval rating. Not the worst numbers either. If you look at the overall average, the president did go down for a bit, but then he spiked back up. Not really spiked back up, but got back to a point where he was pretty comfortable. He was leveling off around 40%, and then 43%, my bad. And then it went down to 40% at one point in time, then went back up to 42.9%, so around 43%. So these new numbers are not the worst. But when we look in the congressional generic ballot vote, we currently have Fox News showing the Democrats ahead by 7%, and then NBC showing the Democrats ahead by 8%. When we look at these numbers, it never looks good for an incumbent who to lose a number of seats, but it's always what happens. When we look at the midterm elections, typically incumbents do lose because they are the incumbent party, and the American people have a very clever way of showing they're not happy with the current administration. So showing the Democrats ahead by 7% and 8% definitely will boost their overall average. I think it's around 8% at this point, or actually it's dipped down to 7.8%. Not really dipped down. The Democrats have actually gone up, just the GOP has gone up before. Remember, there's a time right back here when the Democrats led by 12.9%. So that was at their height of their campaign season, and pretty much the lowest point for the GOP there, because the Democrats are currently at the same numbers as they were back in December when they led by 13%, but it's just the GOP has gone up from 36.3% to 41.3%. So a 5% difference there. So right now, when we look at these numbers, Iowa governor race, not looking too bad for the Democrats there, but still undecided voters are key. In the President Trump approval rating, there isn't a lot to see there. A number of polls are always out, so there isn't a lot to see until 2020. But for the 2018 congressional vote, definitely looking at those numbers from Fox News and NBC, seeing similar data definitely says something about polling firms. So overall, thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I will see you all tomorrow.